In the Geometry Dash community, there's a lot of stuff we hate. Maybe there's a level you despise, or maybe there's a player out there you hate with a passion. But there's one thing that I've noticed that most of the community has begun to lose interest on over the years. If you're a seasoned GD player, you might know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, well, it's the point-and-click DemonList. The DemonList is a website that ranks the top 150 hardest rated and verified levels in GD. To rate a level is when the developer of the game, Raptop, found your level that was created with the in-game level editor to be good enough to be given a star rating, so that other players have a reason to beat your level. To release your created level, you must verify it. To verify a level means to complete it yourself, proving it's humanly possible, because Raptop doesn't want impossible garbage creations everywhere on the servers. Some tools out there, more specifically MegaHack, allow you to upload a level without having to verify it yourself. So if you want a top player to verify a level, you can use MegaHack to upload it. Then they can copy it so that they can complete it. This tool also has a lot of other quality of life features on there, but that's irrelevant. So you'd think that the DemonList would be a good thing, because if you're making a super hard level, you put all your effort into it so that there's a high chance Raptor rates it. Well, yes, but actually no. You see, over the years, Geometry Dash's updates ever since 1.8 have been taking longer and longer to come out. Back in the 1.9 days, levels felt similar, but not the same. Creators were getting better and better at making their level memorable. Let's use Zobos as an example. His levels have so many iconic parts to it that I can remember them. Now, you could make the argument that the community back then wasn't nearly as big as it is today, so not many levels were being released, making it easier to stand out. Well, back then, you could only use 4 color channels at the same time. When 2.0 released, you could use 999 color channels at the same time. So that should show you how hard standing out was back then. As time went on, more features got added to the game, which should make it even easier to stand out, right? If only that was the case. Somehow, levels over time were getting more and more forgettable. The featured tab is a place I go to once a month, and when I do, the levels are either insane 9 stars that I couldn't be bothered to beat, unoptimized 6 stars with some of the most garbage gameplay I think I've ever seen, or just a simple 3 stars that I had fun learning and playing. But then I forget it the second I beat it. You see, to understand how the DemonList fell off, we need to understand the rise. Before we actually get to the point to create DemonList, let's go over the first case of ranking the hardest levels. In January 2015, the player Lugia would create a list in the Geometry Dash forums ranking the top hardest rated levels. In today's day and age, no one really uses the GD forums, but back then, tons of players used it. This list will only last for about 2 months, because Lugia was very inactive, so he wasn't there to update it. Because of this, the player iFreshTheKnock would go on to create his own DemonList, which was uploaded in April 2015. This list was better organized and was just a better place than Lugia's list. The problem with iFreshTheKnock's list was that he wasn't very good at playing the game, so he couldn't accurately rank levels. Lugia's list was more accurate because he was a top player back then, and iFreshTheKnock wasn't. It is kinda weird to rank the levels based on what you think instead of the players' opinions, but that's how it was back then. Because of the questionable placements, iFreshTheKnock's list began losing interest, causing him to abandon it in September 2015. With no DemonList, a new one had to be started, and that's what happened. In November 2015, a new DemonList was created by a bunch of top players, including Raine and more. This list was run by top players, which made the rankings more accurate, and now a certain list percent was required, making it harder to get your name up there. This list would run until August 2016, where players were getting better and names were piling up on the list. Around this time, less and less of the staff were devoting a lot of time into the list, causing it to turn into obscurity. The list would get deleted a month later in September 2015. The player Cobalt would create a new list with members from the previous list, and this went until January 2017, 2 years after Lugia created his DemonList, where Cobalt and the player Stardust, along with a few others, would go and make the first ever official website ranking the top levels. This was of course the point to create DemonList. This would remain for the next 8 years as the official ranking of top levels as we know it. So now that we know the history of the several different versions of DemonLists, let's get into the one we know today. When the list was created, Artificial Ascent by Viper and More was the top one. And if you look at the levels on the list back then, so many of them are memorable. Here's an example. I'm gonna use an RNG number generator to give me a number between 1 and 50. Then I'm gonna check how popular the level is in that spot. I'll first do the level in that spot when the list came out, then the level in that spot today. Okay, it landed on number 45. Let's take a look at the number 45 spot on the list upon release. Okay, Future Circles by Ariel. How many views does this have? 61,000 views. Okay, let's look at the number 45 spot today. Okay, The Plunge by Dola. How many views does this have? 35,000 views. Maybe that was luck. Let's use another example. What number will it be? 23. Okay, let's see what was number 23 back then. Ice Carbon Diablo X. Okay. How many views does this have? 423,000 views. That's a lot. Okay, let's see what's number 23 today. Poo Cubed. Okay, how many views does this have? 58,000 views. Do you see my point? Levels have been getting more and more forgettable. But let's go back to the rise of the list again. When the list came out, only the top 50 levels were ranked, which would get extended to 100 in October 2017, then 150 in June 2019. The evolution of difficulty in this game is inconceivably huge. If you use the feature Time Machine and go to 2018 and before, not a single level is on the list today, which should show how far we as a community have come. In 2020, when Tartarus was top 1, lots of iconic levels were still on the list. Heck, even Bloodbath was still there. The reason was lots of levels placed on the list at the time were former top 20s and 30s, and people around this time realized that levels at almost the very bottom of the list weren't as popular as the top levels, so that's why they didn't make low list levels. However, in late 2021, the level Slaughterhouse by Iced Cave and More was placed at the number 1 spot, and to say that this changed the list is a complete understatement. Ever since Slaughterhouse, people consider the current era of the list to be the Slaughterhouse era, and they're not wrong. To show you how much harder Slaughterhouse is compared to Tartarus, Slaughterhouse is number 16. Tartarus is number 55. What the hell? A lot of levels that were getting on the list at the time that weren't trying to be top 10 were also decently memorable. Stuff like Super Probably level was solidly well done. But that was before the Slaughterhouse era. But now, let's skip to the Slaughterhouse era, or better yet for this video, the fall of the list. Around this time, levels on the list were getting more and more soulless, and it's kinda hard for me to give examples because there are genuinely so many examples that I could give that I'm lost. Take my word for it, you can go to the DemonList yourself and use the Time Machine setting and go to around the time Slaughterhouse was added. Remember earlier how I said that people around 2020 realized that low list levels barely got any attention? Well, people around 2022 realize that extra hard now. To get popular in this space is no easy task. You can be a content creator like me, you can be a top player like Zoink,
I'm just here to have a good time,
or you can be a well-known creator. People are tempted to go for the third option, but since so many people try creating top levels, they'd surely be unique. I mean, after all, since so many people are creating top levels with the 2.1 editor, which was pretty complex by the way, surely they could stand out. Well, somehow, levels felt the same. Recycled, bland decoration and garbage gameplay. I mean, the second I finish watching some of these levels, I can't remember what I just watched. The higher the level is on the list, the more popularity the level will get. Well, that's exactly what people try to do. Make your level go to the top parts of the list so that you can soak up more views. The problem with this, other than the fact that the levels are not memorable, is the fact that due to how many levels that aren't good being placed on the list, several iconic ones are being pushed to the legacy list. Now that's something inevitable. Every level will one day fall off the list. It's the fact that because the iconic levels are gone, it makes even more space for bad levels to fill up the list. When 2023 moved around, only around the top 30 was the good stuff, with some sprinkles of the good stuff spread out afterwards. I would have gone over my thoughts for this year, but I'd just be repeating myself. Moving into 2024, and the list has become a dumpster fire now. I mean, have you ever heard of the level Psychopath by Demipol? Or Damascus by Dzezzer? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's also important to mention that a lot of popular and iconic levels were close to falling off the list at this point in time. Plasma Post Finale, Octic Lights, the Yandere, so many of the levels we knew were close to falling off the list. Naming more than 10 levels on the extended list was practically impossible. Now let's move to 2025. This is where we are today regarding the list. Let's look at the top 20 today and the 2020 Demon List. After analyzing the top 30 of the 2020 Demon List, there was only 3 levels I didn't know. Now let's look at the current Demon List. Okay, after analyzing the top 30 of the current Demon List, there were 8 levels I couldn't remember. A quote from Troy PM describes my thoughts well. The list was once made for levels. Now, levels are made for the list. That quote is absolute cinema. Levels just feel factory produced, and the level's just gone. It reminds me of that one episode of SpongeBob where he was competing with some powerful guy, I don't know, to make 1,000 Krabby Patties. And what happened was SpongeBob slowly finished one Krabby Patty by the time he made 1,000. Well, everyone hated the powerful guy's Krabby Patties, and the powerful guy loved SpongeBob's as one, because he put time and care into it. That's how Demon List levels used to be, but now everyone's making it the wrong way. I genuinely think that if people take a lot of time on making their levels, they'd be good. Another solution is simply everyone gets off the Demon List for a bit, because due to how many forgettable levels are filling in the spots of the memorable ones. If we didn't make so many boring levels to be added to the list, so many iconic ones would still be on the list today. Because of how many boring levels are on the list, it's much harder to be the list demon today. If we took the time to make memorable levels to add to the list would still be highly regarded today. But because that's not the world we live in, we just have to deal with the dumpster fire we have now. The list was so high regarded before the Slaughterhouse era, but now it's a thing of the past. I mean, the fact that the top 6 and the top 11 can be forgettable is just insane. Now with the levels out of the way, let's briefly go over the stupid amount of dramas regarding the list. Oh yes, it's not just the levels that are bad regarding the list, it's the drama surrounding it too. In the recent years, more and more dramas related to the list have been popping up. Now, sure, the list was always the cause of these dramas, but the dramas themselves are really dumb. There were arguments over an extra click at one point. But I'm not gonna go over that one because Troy Pierre made a good video on it. Another dumb one is the temporary ban of the Show Hitboxes on Death Mega Hack feature. So I'm not allowed to see what I died to. The final drama I want to mention is how the community gets upset 99% of the time when levels are placed on the list, because they don't like where it gets placed. Honestly, I agree. The top layer community is minuscule when compared to the entire community. I think that the Demon List should ask the community where the level should be placed, and since there's way more players in the entire community compared to the top player community, the level should have a more accurate placement on the list. There are more dramas that I could have mentioned, but I'm not going to. Just go on Twitter and look at the GD community and you'll see what I mean. The dramas got so bad that there was a drama in every single month in 2024. There's a video showcasing it, so you can check that out when you want to. A lot of dramas are also related to Raptop as well. Honestly, the only way to fix this is the need for Raptop and the Demon List to stop doing stupid things. I could have made this video longer, but I've ran out of stuff to say. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.